I know to make today's video since I'll just make an appreciation video on some of the Deltarune characters which I feel are hated on a bit too much. Ralsei's with me, off-brand Ralsei. And yes, the lighting is very necessary for the dramatic effect. Okay. So, first of all, Birdly. I feel like he's a bit too overhated in the fandom because, like, I really like him as a character. Like, there is, sure, he is somewhat narcissistic, but I don't think really anything he does is malicious. Initially, in Deltarune Chapter 2, he is on Queen's side because Queen promises him a smart utopia, things like that. And this is basically Birdie's dream, I guess, to be recognized for his smartness. But then he is very quick to throw away the chances of this happening when he realizes that the Queen isn't working in Noel's best interest, or Chris and Susie's, but it doesn't matter. I feel like it's really noble for someone like Birdie to give this up. Also, he is willing to admit that Noel actually is smarter than him. It is something that would be really difficult for a character like him, and okay, it might not be difficult, but the fact that he did it, like, it's a testament that, like, he does sort of, like, respect Noel, and his... Really, I think the only reason Noel is uncomfortable because of him is because Noel is, Noel's weaknesses are exactly what Birdly extrapolates by being sort of narcissistic and, like, a bit unaware of social conventions, things like that. And also something I really like about his character is that he is a smart kid who thinks they're dumb. He has a lot of imposter syndrome simply because he knows Noel is smarter than him. So he acts smart because to make up for it, even though he already is smart. Like, he's already capable, but like he still has this imposter syndrome simply because he isn't the best, which is a flaw. But I feel like it isn't something that should really be seen as really bad. Snowball is Chaos King. I'm not gonna argue that he's not a villain. He is a villain in Deltarune. But the thing is, Chaos King, I feel like he's really reasonable, given the role he plays in the story. Because he is supposed to be a more typical antagonist in Deltarune Chapter 1, which is framed as this typical fantasy-style adventure. So naturally the big bad would usually be someone really violent, things like that, and I feel like Chaos King simply does not embody this. He is a reasonable king in my opinion. Sure, he is racist. Is it racism? I don't know. He does discriminate against Lightners. I get why he does that because he feels abandoned by them. But I feel like it's still really reasonable of him to not just completely shut himself away from us. He still talks to us when given a chance. He doesn't really refuse to talk to us. And I'm telling you that, how good he is of a character goes beyond him being willing to talk to us. He also still is a good father. Like, Lancer did betray him. He did start an uprising to stop his father, and this was immediately forgiven basically by Chaos King. Like, I think that by chapter 2, like, Lancer's already like climbing on top of Chaos King, like father and son. Like, it's a typical father-son relationship, despite the betrayal. I feel like Chaos King is reasonable. He understands that he's seen as a villain. He does not want to be freed into a world where he isn't king, where Ralsei is king. And he recognizes that Lancer is I recognize that Lancer betraying him wasn't Lancer's lack of love for him, but rather Lancer, rather Lancer understanding the importance of the Delta Warriors. Um, and third of all is Carol Holiday. So this is going to be an interesting case because Carol isn't someone who's mentioned all that much. They don't have a lot of screen time. But well, it is a double-edged sword because on one hand we don't see her motives, things like that. So we won't be able to accurately excuse her actions if we don't know why she's making them. It still means that we can't really call her Mad Mother. Sure, I guess she is somewhat controlling. She did say to Susie that she can't see Noelle. She's really against Noelle seeing someone like Susie. Again, we don't know why. We know that she's against it. But yeah, maybe it's simply because maybe it could be homophobia. Maybe it could be the maybe it could be how they could. Maybe it could be the societal divide between the upper and lower class. It could be the fact that Susie touched Dessa's guitar and now she is mad at Susie. There are a lot of reasons why it could be like that, but really that's the only time we see her being actively manipulative towards. I mean, this is the only time we see Carol Holiday be controlling, like to ridiculous extents. And I don't feel like she's a manipulative character per se. Usually one trait of being a manipulative person would be saying that everything's fine when it clearly isn't, things like that. But Carol, while she doesn't explicitly state that something's not okay, she also doesn't really hide it. If we look at the Holiday house, we see above the fridge in the kitchen, there's a katana on display, and the handle's facing right. And I don't feel like this. I don't feel as if this is an accidental detail, because Toby Fox, he has a deep respect for Japanese culture, so he would understand the historical context behind putting a katana with a handle facing right, because historically a handle facing right meant that there's a conflict. So Carol Holiday isn't really hiding anything. I think it's a similar case to Chaos King, but not really, if you know what I mean. Where she's clearly a villain, but she doesn't exhibit any horrible traits. So yeah, Deltarune appreciation. So yeah, that's all. Subscribe.